In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at how the current version of the Nintendo Switch edition of Mortal Kombat 1 in the latest 1.9 update compares to Mortal Kombat 11, also on the Switch. If I had done this video 2 months ago, Mortal Kombat 11 would have won in a landslide, but since then, MK1 has gotten a number of updates and improvements which make it a far better competitor than it was 2 months ago. But is it still the underdog, or has it finally defeated its superior older brother? That's what we're going to be taking a look at in today's video. But before we begin, you know what to do, and hit the like button, subscribe, and all that good stuff. If you want to see more Nintendo Switch fighting game coverage and Mortal Kombat 1 online matches and other games too, back to the video. So let's start by looking at a side-by-side comparison of how long it takes each game to boot from the Nintendo Switch home menu into the game's main menu. So surprisingly, it looks like Mortal Kombat 1 is going to win this one with a boot time of about 41 seconds from the home menu to the main menu. With Mortal Kombat 11, it takes over a minute, which is surprising. Now for this next comparison, we're going to be looking at a number of things. For starters, let's see how long it takes to go from the main menu into searching for a casual match. Well, damn. Mortal Kombat 1 wins again, surprisingly. Now, for the sake of transparency, I'm going to pause the video right here and I'm going to let you know that it took me less than 10 seconds to find a match in MK11, but a bit longer to find a match in MK1. The first guy that I found in MK1 declined, so I had to wait a few more minutes to find another one, but I'm going to cut the waiting time out of the video so we can see how long it takes to go from finding a match where we connected to another player into the character select screen. So as we can see, Mortal Kombat 1 was way faster in getting us from the home menu into the casual mode, but once we connected to a match, assuming we connect at the exact same time, it takes about just as long to go into the character select screen, although Mortal Kombat 1 was slightly faster at that. One thing to consider though is that in MK1 it did take my opponent a couple seconds longer to accept the match, so we can say that MK1 is still a few seconds faster. Now let's look at how the character select screen performs. In previous patches in MK1 it was very chuggy, but it is quite a bit smoother now. In MK11 the character models don't move and are only still images, but in Mortal Kombat 1 we do have moving character models, but as you can see it takes time for them to load. What I would like to see, since we don't have the character intros in the casual mode on the Switch anymore, they should just remove the moving models and replace them with still images like in MK11. There is a bit of chugging as well in MK11 when we're talking about moving through the character select screen, but it's not as bad as MK1. But even then, in the latest update for MK1 on Switch, it's not that bad anymore. It took a little while for my opponent to find his character, so what I'm going to do is start both videos again at the moment that the last character is selected. actually did not expect this result, but it looks like Mortal Kombat 1 loads the first match quite a bit faster than Mortal Kombat 11. I really thought MK11 was going to win this one, but I guess not. But you also got to consider that the moment that I picked the arena in MK11 is the exact moment my opponent picked his cameo in MK1. So the arena selection screen hadn't even loaded in MK1 by the time that the match started loading in MK11. So now let's see how quickly the matches load from the moment that the arenas are selected. So yeah, Mortal Kombat 1 loads the first match considerably faster than Mortal Kombat 11 does at this point. MK1 even had enough time to load the intros before MK11 was done loading the match. So far, Mortal Kombat 1 has proven to be superior in loading times, but how does it compare to MK11 in gameplay performance? That's what we're going to be looking at here. The first thing I noticed in MK11 after jumping into this match is that it does feel very unresponsive. When I was trying to backdash, it felt like I was playing a game with delay-based netcode, but it's not delay-based, it's actually rollback netcode, but that seems to be the way that the game was designed because that happens even in training mode, though not to the same degree. I hadn't played MK11 in so long though, so I don't even have combos with Liu Kang in that game anymore, but I can say that from a performance perspective, at least in this match, Mortal Kombat 1 was the smoother experience and it was more responsive. When I input backdash, my character actually backdashes when I want him to. Another thing that was fixed, or at least made manageable, is the frame drops when you call a cameo that stays on screen like Serena. In the previous MK1 patch, calling Serena or Frost in a combo or even in neutral would drop the game's frame rate, and although that still does happen to a degree, it is nowhere near as bad as it was before. I don't have a way to measure frame rates on a Nintendo Switch like Digital Foundry does with their own proprietary program, because if I did, that's what I would do. But from my experience in playing both of these games online, I would say MK1 performs better at this point, aside from cameo calls, which do drop the frame rate a bit even now. But even MK11 is guilty of that when it comes to crushing blows, as I've noted in other videos. Now let's take a look at how long it takes to rematch an opponent from the moment both players agree to rematch. So Mortal Kombat 11 is the clear winner here. It loads a rematch twice as fast as Mortal Kombat 1, so hopefully that's something NRS will address in future patches. But I still gotta say MK1 in patch 1.9 still loads rematches much faster than it did in previous patches, so you can see how far it's come. Now we're gonna take a look at how long it takes to go from the home menu to the crypt in MK11 and invasions in MK1 respectively. Invasions is basically the crypt from MK11. They serve the same purpose, but they're entirely different modes. Another thing they have in common is that they both suck. But that's a discussion for another video. They're both big parts of how players unlock content in their respective games, so we need to compare them. And it looks like MK1 is the clear winner once again, at least in terms of loading. From here on, which you like better will depend on whether you like the third-person RPG light style of the crypt or the board game style of Invasions. I don't really like either, but from a performance perspective, I've got to give it to Invasions. It's just way smoother now than it was on launch day. Like, it's not even comparable, it's way smoother now. Even in its current state, the crypt still feels quite slow. Okay, so I wanted to include more comparisons, and I will, but that's gonna have to wait for another video. I'm still gonna check out how the graphics, Combat League, the towers, the shop, and all those things compare to each other, but that's gonna have to wait because this video is quite long already. But I think we did cover today some of the major sticky points, and we saw just how much MK1 on the Switch has really improved. And it's actually better than MK11 when it comes to the loading times, at least in most areas. I don't think anyone expected that, I know I didn't. But yeah, hit the like button, subscribe, and I will keep bringing you more combo videos, online matches, and video game news. I'm Switchplayed Maga. Done.